name is Rafael, you're watching Rock and Roll Garage, and today I'm going to tell you the story of when Keith Moon accidentally killed his driver. But first, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave your comment. That's right, Keith was known as Moon the Loon because of all the crazy stuff he used to do. He used to thrash hotel rooms and do all kinds of stuff. Once he drove a car into a pool, to a swimming pool, for example, and he didn't know how to drive early on. So he had a driver, and he also had a Bentley, a very expensive car in 1970 when The Who was already a famous and successful band. It was precisely on January 4, 1970, when Moon was 24 and his driver, Neil Boland, was also 24. Keith Moon decided to go to the opening party of a pub who was owned by a son of his neighbors. So he took his wife, Kim Kerrigan, and some friends in the car with him. And the pub was called Red Lion in Hatfield, Hertfordshire in England. But the place was patronized by working class skinheads. And as it is reported, the group was a little bit offended by Moon's display of wealth because of the car he arrived, and because he was drinking a kind of really expensive brandy that night while almost everybody was only drinking beer. And when things got a little worse because of that, the skinheads were not really happy with his presence. He and his friends tried to leave. They went to the car, but when they were about to leave, this group of skinheads tried to throw coins, rocks, and even tried to overturn the car. So, as it is reported, nobody really knows exactly what happened that night. There are a few different versions of it, but his driver, who was also his bodyguard, Neil Boland, got off the car to try to take the skinheads out of the way, but the Keith Moon and everyone inside was so scared about the whole situation that Keith Moon reportedly tried to drive the car. And in that moment of desperation, he tried to drive the car. He didn't know how to drive the car that much because he didn't have a driver's license, and he somehow the bodyguard and driver, the chauffeur, Neil Boland, ended up underneath the car, and he was reportedly dragged down the road, and he was taken to the hospital that night, but he was pronounced dead. And there are a few versions of it, because Boland's daughters reported that she received an email from one of these skinheads some years ago saying that it was actually Moon's wife who was driving the car. But Moon's biographer, called Tony Fletcher, interviewed someone named Jane Betty, who was one of the passengers of the car that night, one of Moon's friends, and she confirmed that it was Moon who was driving the car. And the judges who were on the case also said it was Moon, because he was charged. He was pleaded guilty to 3 charges at the time: drunk driving, driving without driver's license, and driving without insurance. However, the court wiped out all the 3 charges, and according to Rolling Stone magazine that reported this trial at the time, according to Rolling Stone, the judge said that under the circumstances, the judge said you had no choice but to act the way you did, and no moral culpability is attached to you. So he was free to go after that. And there's an interesting report. As I'm saying here, these are reports. There is no really official version of what happened. But Pamela de Beers, who was a famous groupie in the 70s, who was with Moon a couple of times, she said when she was promoting her memoir, her biography, she gave an interview to The Sun, the British newspaper, and she said that one night when we were in bed, he broke down and started to cry, calling himself a murderer. He would wake up screaming. So it gave her a sense that he still was feeling very, very guilty about what happened. And it was a tragic event. But it's one of those things that maybe you didn't know about Keith Moon. So I hope this video was a little bit interesting to you. If you don't know the story, now you know that it actually happened. And as you probably know, Keith Moon ended up also tragically dying in 1978 at the age of 32. And we already recorded a video about his death that happened at Harry Nilsson's apartment. And only 4 years after the Mamas and the Papas singer Cass Elliot also passed away in the same apartment. If you want to watch that video, you can go to the description or click right here that you're gonna watch it. And that's it. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your comment. Thank you for watching. Visit rockandrollgarage.com and I see you later.